Hi, right, let's have a sort of rundown of where we've been and where we're going in astrology this weekend. I'm doing this Friday the 22nd of November 2019, and we'll generally kind of look at things as far ahead as Sunday. We have got a Libra moon at the moment. She entered Libra last night in the States and Canada, 8:20 p.m. West side, 11:20 p.m. East side, and actually that would have been something like 4:20 a.m. UK time GMT today. So it's quite a fresh thing with us in the UK. In fact, really, it's quite a fresh thing with us everywhere. Sign change for the sun today. The sun is entering Sagittarius. And the sun, although, it tends to be the moon that we look at in astrology more than anything in terms of what's happening and what the influence of the moment. The sun being in Sagittarius has a kind of overarching authority, you might say. It is the planet of authority, really, the sun. And that's not just kind of world leaders, it's not kind of just local politicians, your boss at work, although it is them. It affects you as well, because we all have some kind of idea where we want to be in life, where we want to be going, and it plays into that quite strongly. Now, when the sun enters Sagittarius, it's very positive. We see a much bigger picture of things than usual. We get ideas about kind of where things really are going, and we think about where things have come from as well. I don't want to go too far into that, because this is kind of happening astrology rather than what's already happened, if you know what I mean. But trying to stick to one plan can be really difficult, and that is the challenge with the sun in Sagittarius, because it throws up all kinds of scattered possibilities. We tend to see things one at a time, but there's quite a fast progression of things happening one at a time, and things really do get scattered and really quite random as well, to use a word that comes up a lot around the sun in Sagittarius. So actually, if new plans are suggesting themselves to you, if things are coming forward and looking like, that's the way you want to go, think carefully about, which one is the thing you're thinking about doing now. Is that going to kind of get in the way of the thing you were thinking about doing yesterday that seemed like such a good idea? And, that's the way to really look at things all the time. The sun is in Sagittarius. Anyway, Libra moon now. And that's going to go on until 5:58 a.m. UK time on Sunday the 24th. But in fact, that's actually 12:58 a.m. On the east coast of the States and Canada. Just get my ducks in a row here. 9:58 p.m. on Saturday, tomorrow that is, as I'm doing this on the Pacific coast. I'm not very good with these times and things, I'm really not, but that's one of the things about astrology. It can't help bring improvement into your life, and it's making me, sort of forcing me to learn all these new different things. And I think it's worth mentioning this again, actually. Just, it doesn't just affect me, it affects anybody you watch on YouTube who isn't a massive commercial success. Nobody seems to know exactly what's happening at the moment. YouTube have announced the third massive set of changes to the way YouTube is going to be with its content creators. The third time in the last year. It's really been difficult to keep up with it, but it's kind of been a pleasure ducking and diving and getting through and making it work and thinking, well, stick it where you like, YouTube. I'm getting away with this so far, but how much further I'm going to get away with it, I don't know. And it's basically hug a small channel time. That's what we need at the moment, because none of the big channels would ever have been big channels if they hadn't started off as small channels. And I suspect that YouTube is headed towards kind of being more like a TV station, shall we say, that has a lot of different TV channels on it. Really quite unfortunate, I think, and something I'm interested in, as well as the astrology and everything that I do on my channel, is guitars. I've usually got a guitar around somewhere because I like guitars. Esoterically, spiritually, any musical instrument is a fantastic thing, because it's been a musical idea in someone's head and it's come out and it's become a reality. So I do like to kind of have them around, and I'm always interested in them. I don't play them as well as I used to. But there used to be, and there probably still are, many, many small guitar channels saying interesting things, doing interesting things. But it's really the big ones that are being pushed forward now. And You know, these are guys with kind of 20 odd guitars that cost maybe $1,000, maybe a couple of thousand British pounds each at one time or another. And they are the only ones that are out there to watch. And, you know, those are the guys with all the knowledge for sure, you know, but there's only so much I can learn from someone who's going to spend that much money on a guitar. There's one I was watching the other day called Music is Win, and he's certainly winning, I'll say that. He kind of took one of his kind of several $1,000 guitars down off the wall and replaced it with a new, even more thousands of dollars guitar that looks exactly the same. And it's just becoming less relevant to what I would call real life all the time. And of course, I don't really want to see that happening with astrology. But, you know, more and more of the time it is. You used to be able to tune in and see people like Ricochet Rose, who's growing actually. And good luck to you, Rose. By the way, good luck to any smaller channel, because, you know, you will grow if you manage to hang on. I think I'll actually grow here if I can manage to hang on. But YouTube is now, there's two things happening really. One is COPPA, C-O-P-P-A, which is a new law in the States, and it's to protect children. And I'm totally 100% in favour of protecting children. You know, I brought two kids up, and I was often a bit worried, and I had to keep an eye on what they were doing on the internet, because there just isn't enough protection for kids. So I really kind of celebrate that. But I've made a statement that my channel isn't really meant to attract children. I stopped using the Tarot in Wonderland deck because that's, you know, has characters that might appeal to children, and I just don't want to go there really. I don't. So, you know, that's not too difficult. I just use a different tarot deck, and I, you know, don't really have to change anything else, because this is not a children's thing really. And people are generally speaking going to be well over the age of 18 before they start really kind of wanting to know what's going on in astrology. It's kind of a mature understanding of life that takes us in that direction really. So it shouldn't be a worry, but then they've announced something else, and that is, if you're not commercially viable, they may very well shut your channel down. I've heard different explanations of this. Brian G. Johnson, who's one of my favourite kind of YouTube methodology vloggers, is saying that really they might just suspend things like Creator Studio and stuff if you're not making them any money. Daryl Eves, who is also, well, he's kind of a much bigger channel, you know, so I suppose he's going to be fine with it. He is saying, no, you know, YouTube are actually going to start demonetizing everyone and just taking your channel off completely, and millions of channels he reckons are going to be deleted as we go forward. So I don't really know, you know, I don't think anybody does, because all YouTube are willing to say about this is they don't really know what they're going to do yet. And that has been the case all this year, you know. About 3 years ago, when I decided to get really serious about my channel, all you needed was something like 1,000 views or something, and then you could start monetizing, you could start putting adverts on. And so I got up to 1,000 views, which was like getting blood out of a stone actually, because YouTube will not promote you until you've taken off at least a little bit. And just as I got there on the 19th of February, and on the 20th of February, they changed the rules, and you actually have to have 1,000 subscribers then. And, you know, things changed quite a lot after that. So every time I nearly get there, the goalposts move and things change. So quite annoying. I really don't know which way that's going to go, but we've got a Libra moon right this minute, so maybe I should be looking more at the balanced side of things and saying, well, everything's going to be okay. Certainly I know that in any kind of spiritual practice and in any kind of spiritual terms, if you just take the attitude that things are going to be okay, the law of attraction kicks in and makes it so. And that, my friends, is why I am still sitting here talking about all this and doing all this. The other reason actually is just that I enjoy it, and I enjoy meeting people. It's so funny. I was watching a YouTube interview with a band called, well, they're not a real band, they're kind of a spoof band. They have done gigs, they've done Glastonbury, and they're called Spinal Tap. And I know that they are sort of fairly well known in the States and Canada, because who was it vlogging about them? Yeah, the guitarologist who's in Tennessee, I think, or Kentucky. Yeah, Kentucky, that's it. Saying he knows all about them. And So I know they're well known all over the world, but they're really a parody of an English rock band, a parody of just about every English rock band there's ever been. It all sort of comes into it in different ways, and it is known worldwide. Just as I was watching that, they were talking about kind of the hippie type of things that were going on in the 1960s. And I've made a new friend, Kimberly Davis. Kim, hi to you if you're watching, who is in San Francisco. And she emailed me kind of just as I was watching that and said she'd been out in the park kind of connecting with leprechauns and things. And if you know the Spinal Tap thing, they were just doing the bit about Stonehenge where one of them has ordered from the stage designers an 18-foot Stonehenge thing, and they send an 18-inch Stonehenge thing instead because he kind of put inches instead of feet. And that was really quite a good bit of happenstance there. So that connection and everything, it's why I enjoy it so much. Excuse me a minute. And this is another thing, you know, whatever's going on in astrology, and whatever astrology seems to be throwing at us, whatever it is that rules the planet in terms of spirituality, in terms of the law of attraction, in terms of the angels and everything, is always a little bit higher up than just the plain thing that's going on in astrology. I always ask the angels when we go into Mercury retrograde to kind of help it not be too bad. And when we come out of Mercury retrograde, I ask them again. And we came out of Mercury retrograde last week. It was actually Wednesday the 20th when that happened. And worth saying a little bit more about it, actually. I know that was a very intense one. Believe me, I do know, because I had such crazy dreams. Gosh, I mean, I'll just tell you about one of these dreams, right? I'd got a job working with disabled people, and there was this very seriously disabled young man, and I was just going around town with him, helping him to kind of get around and do what he wanted to do. And so a voice in the background kept saying, "He's not a real man." And I was saying, well, you know, that's a horrible thing to say. How's this guy supposed to make his life come together if people are saying things like that? But this guy was following us everywhere, saying he's not a real man. And he seemed quite a friendly bloke. And in the end, I said to him, you know, look, seriously, I wish you'd stop saying that. Why are you saying he's not a real man? And he said, because he's a fish. And I looked at him, and he was a fish. I'd been going around town with this fish, and I'd been wondering why he was gasping for breath and trying to go in all the fishmongers' shops. But that's the kind of dream, you know. It sounds a bit fun. Well, it was quite funny, really. But when I first woke up for it, I was sweating, and that's been a general theme of that Mercury retrograde. Strange dreams that feel worse than they really are. And I'm so glad that has moved on. I've had some quite gentle dreams since the end of Mercury retrograde. And if you were going through the wacky dream thing, excuse me, I hope your dreams have calmed down a bit. Oh dear. I get started and then I get the frog in my throat. So anyway, there's been lots of comments coming in recent times, and that's been great as well. Eileen went out very early in the morning to get her car fixed because Mercury retrograde had actually come to an end, and you know, my car has actually gathered up several little faults that I didn't want to get mended during Mercury retrograde. So we're all kind of licking our wounds and coming back to life a bit after that. But the thing is, right, Mercury is still in the post-shadow to its retrograde, and it will be until the 7th of December. And the Mercury retrograde was in Scorpio. And when we get to the 9th of December, Mercury actually comes out of Scorpio. But we have got Mars in Scorpio pretty much happening as we speak. It's coming into being, you know, it's an applying aspect. Mars is still void in whatever it was in before Scorpio. So I should really know that, shouldn't I? But Mars is actually on its way into Scorpio at the moment. So that is going to be quite a tricky one. That's coming up next week as we go forward. So, you know, nothing to worry too much about just yet. But on Sunday the 24th, Mars is going to be opposite Uranus. And that means kind of stormy, unpredictable situations, weather included, I guess. Possibility of accidents as well as general kind of disturbances. disturbed weather patterns, it says here, and a possibility of violence as well. I really hope nobody watching this is on the wrong end. I hope nobody at all is on the wrong end of any violence that might be going on. But that is only one aspect. That's coming in Sunday the 24th. Same day also, Sunday the 24th. Venus is going to conjunct Jupiter in Sagittarius, so it's a bit scattered again, but there's a lot of good luck, a lot of happiness associated with that. So that is going to kind of counteract the Mars opposite Uranus thing. That is going to make for a much happier set of conditions. And yeah, the Sun in Sagittarius today, as I was saying, that is the other big changes we got coming into the weekend, and that will still be the case for quite a while going forward. So it's that big picture that really matters. It's really important to kind of try and stick to one plan. Now then, the rundown of things today in terms of applying aspects, in terms of things that are coming into being. We've got Moon square Saturn coming up. Conservative, serious. Some people might have feelings of isolation, and a lot of people are coming from a place of fear as they react to things. We also have a possibility of delays there. Let's try and remember that delays can be beneficial. I hope, friends, that if delays are happening to you, they are only the more beneficial ones. Thing to do, get your head down, work, organisation, and it says here, restraint. I'm looking, by the way, at alab.com, ALABE.com, which is kind of where I look for the alignments that are coming up. Also coming up, Mercury trine Neptune. Imaginative conversations, future planning, vision questing. A lot more positive, actually. Favourable conditions for retreat, closure, spirituality and inspiration. Well, that's going to work nicely because there are kind of a few things pushing in a less, I won't say negative direction, but pushing in a less positive direction as we go through the weekend. So it might very well be a good time to just not exactly hide away, but be a little bit less out there. That would also help us keep it real in terms of Sun in Sagittarius. Just, maybe work on things around the home. That's always a positive thing to do in the last quarter of the moon. And we're sort of in the last eighth of the moon now because she is, let me see, she's about 22% or something. I'm just trying to bring it up on my little tablet screen here. Yeah, 22.5% full at this moment. The new moon then is coming in on the 26th, which has got to be Tuesday, and that's 15:05 UK time, GMT. So 10:05 AM or 7:05 AM, depending where you are in the States and Canada, and just 5 minutes after midnight on the 27th in New Zealand. So it's pretty much, these applying aspects are what really kind of control things. So I'm going to say it's pretty much going to be the case on Saturday in New Zealand. On the 26th in New Zealand, which is going to be a Tuesday, not a Saturday. Oh dear. Right, such confusion. I don't know. What am I like? Anyway, as we go through the weekend, those are the main influences. These things are changing all the time, if you actually have an ephemeris, which I strongly recommend. Here's the book I use. It's got an ephemeris in it. It's got just about everything else in. Llewellyn's Daily Planetary Guide. This is the 2019 one. No doubt they'll be doing a 2020 one. And we need to have some 2020 vision because, we've really got to think about 2020. It is nearly upon us, just about kind of 4.5, maybe 5 weeks away. So that new moon next week, we've also got Venus entering Capricorn on Monday, and that is going to cast a sort of darker and more serious light on love, money, art and beauty and everything that relates to them. But, we talk about it being a darker and more serious thing. Well, there's a lot of positivity in taking these things more seriously because they are all kind of esoteric things. Money is very real, I suppose, but love, art, beauty, those things, they're not just all in the mind, but they originate in the mind, and that's what actually drives us as we go forward. Tuesday, that moon. Wednesday, the 27th, Neptune is going to shift into forward gear, and things are really going to be happening as that goes, because Oh, Neptune has been very quiet for about 5 months now, so it's going to be much more in the picture. But there we go. I will do a weekend astrology post when we get to Sunday and predict everything ahead for the next week. I'm going to leave it here for now. Hope you have a fantastic weekend, whatever you're doing and wherever you are in the world. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll be along again soon. If YouTube doesn't block my channel, but I don't think it's going to do that until after the 10th of December. If it does, and let's have the law of attraction here, guys. I'm going to say YouTube will not block my channel. It will become monetized and I will be fabulously rich, traveling around the world, visiting people and buying new guitars and stuff. Meanwhile, have a fantastic one. Thumbs up, please, if you've enjoyed this one. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, tap the bell, and, just choose whatever you want. When you tap the bell, it gives you 3 choices because it likes to keep us on our toes. You can have everything personalised or kind of no recommendations and just look in when you feel like it. You are in control, you certainly are. You're also in control of whether you leave a comment or not, but it's always great to hear from people, so do leave me a comment. We will share the journey. Okay, and thanks to everyone who's been commenting. Too many to remember, actually, in the last week. Lots of people have been in touch, but Jay, Damaris, everyone who's left a comment, I really appreciate it, I really do. Share me around the internet if you possibly can, and I'll see you again very soon. Have a good weekend and peace.